Tonight, Deputy President William Ruto and ANC boss Musalia Mudavadi decry of threats and intimidations in the 2022 presidential bids.
Mimi nataka niwaulize wote, tuache blackmail, tuache threats.
Achane na porojo ya watu kujaribu kutushurutisha na kusema ni lazima awe hule ama ule.
Also tonight, section of political leaders from northern Kenya now vow to popularize the United Democratic Movement Party as the region's political vehicle.
What we are looking at, we come together, crystallize our issues, and be able to make sure that whoever we engage with in terms of presidential aspirants, we have crystallized our issues and we engage them to mainstream our issues.
Plus, political leaders now pile pressure on the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to extend the ongoing mass voter registration exercise. Driver burned beyond recognition in a truck that caught fire in Webuye. Well, good evening. My name is Grace Josephine, and Mini Mbresa is a sign language interpreter this evening. 22047 is the SMS line at W Grace Josephine at TV47 Kenya across all social media platforms is how you can take part in the conversation tonight. Deputy President William Ruto has yet again accused his opponents of threats and intimidations in an attempt to block his 2022 presidential bid. Ruto spoke while addressing rallies in Kajiado County after attending a church service, as Paul Kirobi now reports.
In a thinly veiled attack aimed at President Uhuru Kenyatta and his allies, Deputy President William Ruto has yet again warned his opponents of trying to use intimidation, blackmail and threats against his 2022 presidential bid of succeeding President Kenyatta.
Tafadhali, tuache blackmail, tuache threats, tuache intimidation, tuache kuuzia watu uoga. Wakenya wamekataa mambo ya blackmail, threats na kuuzia watu waoga ama kuuzia watu uoga.
Tunaomba rais wetu Uhuru Kenyatta afuate huyo mtindo wa Rais Mwai Kibaki, hata yeye akimie, amalize wakati wake ule umebaki mwezi 9, asituambie tutaenda wapi, atuachie nafasi tuchague yule kiongozi ambaye tunapenda.
His remarks coming just days after President Uhuru Kenyatta told Kenyans not to elect thieves in the coming polls. In his speech in Ruiru on Friday, President Kenyatta said such leaders will water down his legacy and that of former President Mwai Kibaki. Ruto further calling on leaders with smaller political parties to fold them to join his UDA outfit, which he says is a national party.
Saa hizi wabunge 155 tayari ni members wa UDA from all corners of Kenya. Hiyo ndio mpango yetu ya kuunganisha Wakenya, kutengeneza chama ya kitaifa ambayo itawashirikisha Wakenya wote. Wapinzani wetu wajieleze. Hizi chama zao mingi ya kabila hii na hii na hii wataunganisha Kenya kwa njia gani?
Mudavadi ameangaishwa kabisa. Paka ikakuja alipoenda Kakamega, machozi kamtoka, akasema I am being forced, being coerced, being intimidated, physically, emotionally, threats, kuunga mkono ule mzee wa kitandawili akuwe rais wa Kenya.
However, Ruto allies have called on Odinga to concede defeat if he will lose in the coming polls.
Inaomba tu Baba Raila Amolo Odinga akuje public, asema akishindwa akubali.
The second in command held political rallies at Ilasit Town, Kajiado County, after attending a church service at Kimana Christ the King Catholic Church and the AIC Church Loitoktok, Kajiado County.
Amen.
Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
The UDA.
Well, still on the political arena, One Kenya Alliance principals have scoffed at the possibility of forming an alliance with ODM leader Raila Odinga. Led by ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi, the leaders say Kenyans should be given an opportunity to choose a leader of their choice and not one imposed by individuals. The principals claim they won't be coerced into another coalition amid claims that President Uhuru Kenyatta has advised them to throw their weight behind Odinga.
The One Kenya Alliance principals Sunday took to Thika Town, where they attended a Sunday service at the ATG Chapel before holding rallies in different towns along the Thika Superhighway. Led by ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi, the alliance has downplayed any efforts to try and coerce them to join an alliance with other candidates amid claims that President Uhuru Kenyatta is pressurizing them to join hands with ODM leader Raila Odinga ahead of the 2022 presidential poll.
Tuachane na porojo ya watu kujaribu kutushurutisha na kusema ni lazima awe hule ama ule. Nilisema hayo nikiwa Kakamega na mimi narudia hapa na nitarudia kila pahali. The leadership comes from the people and the people must decide. Kwa hivyo chukua kura, you are the one to decide who is going to be the leader of this country. Not a few leaders seated somewhere and imagining that they shall decide who shall be Kenya's leaders. We want this to be determined by the ordinary voter in every part of the 47 counties.
But you have chosen to work together.
The alliance principals, who include Wiper's Kalonzo Musyoka, Moses Wetangula of Ford Kenya, and Gideon Moi of KANU, have outlined their plans to rejuvenate the economy by promising to cut down taxes, create employment, and solve the ills bedeviling Kenyans, including the high cost of living and alarming insecurity.
Punguza ushuru marudufu by 50%. Tukifanya hivyo, hawaina gross domestic product. Uchumi wa Kenya utakuwa marudufu. Ndio tunasema uchumi marudufu.
Sisi kama wanaokra tunataka kupunguza mzigo wa ushuru kwa wananchi. Saizi hata mwana bodaboda ushuru analipa, muuza mtumba ushuru analipa, mpaka hata hivi karibuni wataanza kulipisha ushuru kwa kila mtu, hata wasichana wetu.
The high cost of living, the insecurity, the lack of jobs, unemployment for our youth, the medicine, dawa, your hero will be found under the umbrella of Oka.
Mudavadi has faulted the government for its insatiable desire of borrowing amid a bloated wage bill, hence burdening Kenyans the more. Oka has promised to create millions of jobs and cautioned the youth against embracing the culture of handouts, accusing the deputy president of enslaving the young people by giving out handouts instead of treating the root cause, which is unemployment.
Nataka Wakenya wafahamu kwamba serikali haina pesa zake binafsi. Serikali inatoa pesa kwa mwananchi wa kawaida. Wakikopa zaidi, ushuru unaongezeka. Wakiiba zaidi, ushuru unaongezeka. Wakipora zaidi, ushuru unaongezeka.
Unauza mbuzi, unauza ng'ombe kusomesha mtoto. Alafu naambia mtoto, sasa kuja uanze kupigana na mama yako kuuza mboga, ajiugiranue hela. Tulisomesha watoto wapate kazi muhimu ili maisha yetu ibadilike.
Oka also wants the National Assembly to allocate more funds to the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission IEBC to facilitate the extension of the ongoing mass voter registration, which is coming to a close in 2 days. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Still on matters politics, section of leaders from Northeastern have vowed to popularize the United Democratic Movement Party as the region's main party, led by Mandera Governor Ali Rober. The leaders say the party will address the issues of the people from the region. The move comes just days after another party, UPIA, was launched by other leaders from the same region, led by Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukuru Yatani.
And its base is 70% of this country. It's good to say, and this is now for the people who are here, and for the people who come from that region that are going to be the base of this party, is that we want to consolidate all the parties from that region and be on the table.
Through session of paper number 10 of 1965, we were discriminated. It was official. No investment was allowed to go to northern Kenya. And therefore that marginalization has really taken a toll on us. So even the piece of cake we've just gotten may not be enough, to catch up with the rest of the country.
This region is grossly underdeveloped and is associated with insecurity and many other challenges. I have been a member of parliament for 9 years, and in my observation, I feel that the problem of northern Kenya basically boils down to underdevelopment. That is the single biggest underlying thing in our region.
I just want to invite you, as a small party, please, when you grow, come and join us. Join us and ensure that we form the next government. I would want a situation, because the name UDM and the name of the party from my region is almost similar.
As I look at what you are doing here today, I see this move as a last mile connection in our politics. Correct?
There has not been any benefit that accrued to us by only getting cabinet position or PS, CAS for that matter. What we are looking at, we come together, crystallize our issues, and be able to make sure that whoever we engage with in terms of the presidential aspirants, we have crystallized our issues and we engage them to mainstream our issues. For example, in 9 years as a governor, over 20 key investors have come to Mandera, and they had to go back because we don't have sufficient power supply.
Still on the Northeast, a section of political leaders from Garissa and Wajir counties now want the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to extend the period of registering voters to another month. At the same time, the Service Party leader, Mwangi Kiunjuri, is urging youth to register as voters, as it is their democratic right to choose the leaders they want.
5154 81.
2nd November 2021 is the last day of the ongoing month-long mass voter registration by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. The exercise has been running for a month, and it was targeted at new voters who received their identity cards in the last 4 years. Now, a section of political leaders are urging the IEBC to extend the period of registration by 30 more days, saying the commission has fallen short of its target.
It is a reality. We are not able to meet the targets they have set up for themselves, and we need them to try and see that we register as many new voters so that Kenyans can be allowed to exercise their democratic rights and vote leaders of their choice.
The numbers that we have been receiving from this region, specifically Wajir County, is very, very busy. So my appeal will be directly to IEBC for the extension of this exercise, or for the planning, or for them to plan for a mass registration early next year.
People must be registered in time. They must be registered in their localities, considering the fastness of the land, considering the drought. There must be mechanisms to reach those people, which is lacking at the moment. So we are appealing that IEBC must go back to the drawing board and come up with a mechanism to register especially pastoralists.
Meanwhile, the Service Party leader Mwangi Kiunjuri is urging youth to register as voters, as it is their democratic right to choose the leaders they want.
They should also know that there are people who are demoralizing them, who do not want them to register as voters. Reason, because they don't know how the youth will behave and whom they will vote for. And therefore, because it's a vote that cannot be decided where they will go, some people are very happy that they are not registering.
We want to tell the chairman of IEBC, Wafula Chebukati, to take charge of electoral matters and stop inviting busybodies to come to IEBC meetings of planning elections. CS Matiang'i has no qualification, has no knowledge on how to run an election. CS Muchero, his job is to ensure that the transmission network is there, and that is where his job ends. Mambo ati IEBC wanafanya mkutano kupanga uchaguzi na Matiang'i ameketi hapo na Muchero ameketi hapo, sisi tumekataa.
The leaders also want IEBC to establish mobile registration centers for all pastoralist communities who are on the move in search of pasture. Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
Well, at this point, we take a very quick break, but there's more on the other side, so stay with us. Coming up, driver burnt beyond recognition in a truck that caught fire in Webuye.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Oh, hi guys. Sorry, you found me 5 minutes before I started recording, but anyway, so most of you have been asking me why I started Lady CLC Nighting with Joy Rongo. I have also had my own share of pain. I know how it feels to want to give up. This is basically here to speak hope and inspire somebody who's going through a rough patch, to tell them that they can turn their pain into power. Our guests are normally here to share their experiences so that you can know somebody else did it, so you can also come out of it stronger and better. Let me go to my recording, and remember to always stay tuned every Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
Undertaking husband duties on a boyfriend tender.
Guys, with bromance, do you share your woman with the bro? Have a sister? Give me your sister. I show you how these things are done. So you go release and be like,
Men supporting each other, not only financially, but also socially.
Don't mingle with women you can't deal with.
Is there really a formula for dating and marriage?
Some men are procreational, some men are recreational.
Every Wednesday on TV 47, the Men's Conference brings you a cocktail of top-notch advice to breed alpha males for
Well, glad to have you back. With barely 2 months to the 2022 campaigns, the presidential hopefuls have intensified their bid to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta, and at the center of the race to State House is 26 million votes. According to the Electoral Commission, IEBC, everywhere they go, presidential candidates pull crowds, and that crowd measures one's popularity and acceptance across the entire country. But as Musa Salah reports in this week's episode of the 2022 Game Plan, crowds barely count at the ballot.
Long march
motorcades, curious crowds and luxurious cars with popped-up sunroofs have been painting the streets of several towns across the country. A picture that tells it all, that the campaign season has just begun. UDA! Despite social media opening up spaces for political candidates to engage with voters in more direct ways, the greatest attraction for politicians still remains the large number of crowds they pull, with political experts scaling the crowd against a candidate's influence and popularity.
You have so many people attending your meetings doesn't necessarily translate into votes. There are those who come because they've been paid, and there are those who come because they are curious, and there are those who come out because they believe in that person who has organized for that line.
There are people who also wait to see where is the wave going? Where are the majority of the people looking at? So they pull others. So crowd, yes, it is important in politics because it helps you pull others, right? But remember, not everybody in that crowd will vote for you. So the votes and the crowd is not a linear relationship.
According to pundits, not all crowds are supporters, and some are likely to just make away with the goodies their idols have brought, a risk that presidential candidates have to battle with. But according to veteran politician and nominated Member of Parliament Maina Kamanda, one must see through the hearts of the members of his crowds to persuade them.
Today, what may be valid today may not tomorrow. So politics is very dynamic, very fluid, and this campaign time, you can be sure any aspirant, wherever he goes, he'll attract a crowd. Not because they love him or they believe in him. They want to hear what he has to say first.
And that is why you see that in the next couple of months, you'll see intense campaign in this context, that you must reach to as many followers as possible, as supporters.
Big crowds are important in that if you talk to them and convince them, that crowd can be translated into votes. But occasionally the crowd does not mean votes. In fact, you may have people in the crowd who will dislike you because of the way you have talked to them.
Ni lazima uone upendo wa watu. Ukiona program watu wamejaa hapa, ni lazima utawaona wako namna gani kwa roho zao. Kuna wale wanakuja tu kuona huyo mtu, lakini kuna wale ambao haja zao ni kupeana kura kwa baba. Na vile nimeona wale watu ambao tumetembea na baba, tumesunguka, wale watu wanakuja hapa Central wakiungana na baba, ni wale wataumpa baba kura.
How significant the numbers are at the ballot, however, is a different story altogether. For example, in both the 2007 and the 2013 general elections, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga was the most popular of the presidential candidates, but came in second, losing to former President Mwai Kibaki and President Uhuru Kenyatta respectively.
2002, 2007, most of the time the numbers that Right Honorable Raila Odinga had a lot of and huge crowd, but that didn't translate to vote.
In politics, you have to have more than numbers. And personally, we all know what happened in 2007. The winner was the loser, but whoever was declared the winner had lost in the ballot. And I think it's important to realize that elections are supposed to be free and fair, but the rhetorical question would be, are they ever free and fair?
But at the end of the day, the Kenyan people know they will make their decision. And that's why we say we vote by secret ballot. We don't vote by counting the number of people in a rally.
So far, Deputy President William Ruto and his new political vehicle, the United Democratic Alliance (UDA), seem to be ahead on the race to State House next year, with Ruto making inroads in President Kenyatta's Mount Kenya backyard. According to opinion polls, Odinga's Orange Democratic Movement (ODM) comes in second at 22%, with President Kenyatta's Jubilee Party coming in third in Mount Kenya with 10%.
You know, William Ruto has been on a campaign for the last 4 years. The other candidates have just begun. So I guess every day things change. And that's the purpose of politics.
He has been around for some time, and therefore that is why he has been able to garner that popularity. But whether he will sustain that popularity between now and August remains to be seen, because we don't know what might happen when other contestants come out and they roll out their campaigns.
And by then it was popular the whole country. But at the end of that 1982, Matiba came in, and it is splitted down to the earth there. And what happened? Our popularity of DP went down, and who was popular by then came up to be Matiba. So about popularity, it go with time.
With other presidential hopefuls yet to launch their campaigns and engage a shifting gear in the political landscape, similar to the 1992 general election, Ruto is faced with another headache, choosing between his die-hard allies who have been implicated in serious graft cases and appeasing his supporters, thousands of whom have been mesmerized by his wit and bottom-up economic model.
People will always come and say, so-and-so is with so-and-so. And we know so-and-so is a person of this character. I will not vote for that person. So that's also another thing. And if you look at it, you will see that the presidential candidates who are front runners, even as we go forward, you see they redefine their teams that are with them. Some of those known faces will have to take a back seat because people have already formed an opinion about them. So you'll have to work with a new team that voters can therefore say, well, I cannot really pinpoint the bad thing about so and so. They would therefore give them a vote.
Mbona wakosane sahihi wakati watu kama sisi hatukuwa kwa ile NASA na sahihi ndio tunawaletea kula yetu? Sasa si ndio wangetaka waungane zaidi kwa sababu hawakuwa na kura yetu, sahihi wanakula yetu, tunawaletea kula. Mbona wakosane sahihi? Ni kusema kunaye ambao hata kwa roho yake hata wakati hiyo ingine ya NASA bado walikuwa nataka baba anguke, kienda kuanguka mpaka dakika ya mwisho aonekane hatapata. Kwa sababu sasa hii ndio wakati wa baba.
Musa Salah, TV 47.
Well, thank you, Musa Salah, for that report. Hassan Wehalier has been endorsed by the 5 clan sultans as the sole candidate of the clan to battle for Wajir gubernatorial seat come 2022. He was selected by the clan sultans after a series of meetings in order to choose one person among several contenders. Ugas Sheikh Mohammed, who was among the candidates before the sultanate, has refuted the decision to endorse Wehalier, now saying he will also be on the ballot.
The aspirants who subjected themselves to apply to the family decision-making organ. After a long duration, after having a lot of processes, finally we settled on our brother Hassan Wehalier Khalid to be the flag bearer of the family. And we call upon all the family members to rally behind him, to support him fully, and also we request our neighbors, our people of Wajir to support him and vote for him.
Today, again, with the will of Allah, we are here witnessing another great occasion where clan politics and a clan decision-making is again at a display, and where we have unanimously, and the Sultanate and the leadership of the 5 nations have unanimously agreed on one candidate who will be the flag bearer for the family.
Well, a proper demonstration of Wajir's clan's negotiated democracy. And that report brings us to our first breather. Don't go too far away, as we have a lot more lined up for you.
You are watching TV 47, the home
your trusted provider for bulk SMSs. We also offer API integrations for all your communication and payment needs. We also provide you with tailor-made payment gateway solution to receive and disperse cash quickly, affordable and securely. Let us expand your reach and connectivity on USSD, SMS and voice today. Call us on 0723 030 030 or email hello@mtruck.limited.co.ke. For more details, visit our website www.mtrucklimited.co.ke.
Mwalimu, have you heard?
What?
Teachers will be required to have a teaching license so as to practice.
A license?
It means you need to enroll for Continuous Professional Development Program, that is TPD, to renew your teaching license in Kenya like other professions.
Sasa, where do we enroll?
Mount Kenya University is accredited by TSC to offer the program.
So who is eligible?
All TSC registered teachers. The program is being offered online and the intake is in progress.
Mount Kenya University, unlocking infinite. You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Well, glad to have you back. Now on to a rather sad story. A truck driver has died after he was trapped inside a burning truck following an accident that occurred at Kaburengu area along the Eldoret-Webuye Road. And as Elizabeth Atieno now reports, the accident involved 2 other vehicles, with the drivers nursing injuries at Webuye Hospital.
This was the situation Sunday noon. This truck, loaded with a 40-feet container filled with goods, busted into flames, killing the driver. According to witnesses, the truck driver hit the bump before losing control at the River Nzoia Bridge and ramming into 2 vehicles, a Toyota Noah and a sand transporting lorry.
Hii gari yenye imeanguka katikati hii ilitoka huko juu, ilikuwa na breki. Ilimekuwa mbio kabisa. Yenye imeungua hiyo. Kufika hapa hivi kagonga ile ndogo yenye imekuwa hapo kando. Kidogo ikagonga ile nyingine. Sasa ni akajikata, akafanya nini? Akaanguka kando. Ndio yeye ndio akakufa, amechomekea ndani.
Fire extinguishers from the Kakamega County arrived at the scene and took time to extinguish the fire from the burning truck.
Kwa kiti amechomeka, ameungua, ni nyama tu.
Angry residents are calling on the government to renovate the road in a bid to ease the cases of accidents reported in the area.
Sasa kila mara ukikuja hivi unikumbasa tu watu wakienda wananyamaza. Tena kidogo kisingine inatokelezea. Hiyo si poa, tumekaa tumechoka. Tafadhali serikali tusaidie.
Serikali tunaomba uweze kutusaidia ili tuweze kututolee hii pambo nyumeka hapa hivi chini. Tunataka barabara ikuwe mzuri, gari zinapita mzuri, kila kitu ikuwe mzuri.
Fire engine ongeaka ikuwe karibu, manake hapa hivi ajali inafanyika kila wakati. So ungekuwa wanaokoa maisha watu wengi, hata watu gari ingekuwa inachomeka ama watu wangekuwa naumia.
This accident comes barely 2 months after 6 people perished on the same spot. Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth Atieno, for that report. Crossing over to the coast, several villages in Kwale are now going for months without water. Locals have been forced to walk for long distances in search of the precious commodity. And as Maria Mwacharo found out, their efforts to get help from local leaders have failed.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And so did our journey to the village of Mdaga and Mtsambiani in Kwale County begin early in the morning. Rough terrain and rocky, then sandy roads did not deter our course, and soon we arrived at our destination. A village whose residents have for so long had one plea to its leadership.
Mtsambiani hii, mali yetu ng'ombe zapata shida. Mtsambiani hii, shule yetu watoto wanapata shida, wanaenda kuteka maji mbali na wengine wanalala hapo kwenye shule. Sasa mtu anaacha kusoma mapema, anaenda kutafuta maji. maji haijulikani pale ilipo, ni mbali kabisa, ni mtu atoe pesa aletewe na pikipiki, na hiyo pikipiki unaitoa na shilingi 200 ama 250 ndio uletewe maji.
For over 10 years now, residents of Msamviani and neighboring villages have solely depended on rainwater for domestic use for both their animals and their own consumption. This dire condition for the lack of clean water for their use led to the birth of the famously known here as Shida Sugu.
Shida Sugu ni shida ya maji, hatupati maji hapa. Tumepuzwa kabisa. Manake tunaweka kura zetu na hatuoni manufaa yote yale. Barabara kama vile mlivyoiona na shida za maji za mwananchi ni hivyo.
Karibu miaka 10 na iliponyesha mvua, sasa tulikuwa tunatumia maji mengine lakini ikashinda.
The scorching sun and sight of residents trekking long distances carrying water containers is enough proof of the major struggle of this village. Residents lament that it has been more than 10 years since they used water from this borehole donated by a political aspirant, then Member of Parliament Chirau Mwakwere.
Haya maji sisi basi ni watu wengi ilikuwa wakitumia haya maji. Sasa kwa vile boli yetu imekwama, tunaomba serikali tutuzame machi mawili, tuwekewe haya maji. Japokuwa yako chumvi, lakini ni afadhali tunayo karibu si kama tunayo mbali.
Boli yetu hii ilikuwa yafanya kazi miaka ya nyuma, alafu ikaja transformer ikachomeka fuse ya phase 3. Tukabakia bila stima zaidi ya miezi 6 na mpaka sasa hiyo transformer haijarekebishwa.
Students in this village know no other reality but leaving classes early in search of the scarce resource, sometimes forcing them to sleep at the water points, waiting in line to fetch till morning. The rust and cobwebs evident in the frame of this borehole need not a storyteller to tell one that it has indeed been ages since its use. Residents now fear that the murky rainwater that collects in this reservoir poses a health hazard to them.
Sisi tunanywa maji matope yenyewe, hasa ng'ombe zinakunywa hapo na mwanadamu ni hapo hapo, na maji pia si masafi. Ni ugonjwa ambao tunauweka kwenye mwili.
Area Sub Chief Hamisi Hassan Matezo concurring with the locals over their concerns for the availability of water and the local government's laxity at addressing the matter.
It has been a so long problem, and we haven't yet reached a concrete solution. We had this borehole some years back, but it faced some challenges. Okay, so far, the people of this area, especially here, they fetch water from a long distance.
We set course and joined the locals to the water point kilometers away from the village. Here, the sad truth stared at us as we watched both man and animal share the only life spring for the 6 villages in the area. I volunteered to help one of the local girls here to get water to her home. More than 7 kilometers over hills and across dryland was the reality of walking in the shoes of many girls in this village, most of whom at the time should be in school.
Na mimi nimesimamia huu msara mwaka huu ni wa 10. Lakini ng'ombe huwa zinakunywa pale ndani, maji haijashafishwa, mbuzi zinakunywa pale, hata umbwa. Watu wanaingia paka kwa magoti. Sasa huku sisi tunakula uchafu.
And when this rainwater dries,
maji kwanza ni ya mvua, alafu yakikauka lazima mwendo mrefu, hata unafuata mkongani tena ukalale huko.
Residents here expressed their heartbreak at what they call negligence from the government, whom they claim knows very well their never-ending cry and plea for a solution to the water scarcity in the area. Empty promises and leaders who flee their people is what they say is the norm here.
Na tunawaambia wenzetu wao wenye ngazi za juu, lakini tumepuzwa, sijui tumepuzwa kwa shauri gani, na sisi pia ni wananchi wa Kenya.
Hata juzi tumekutana na gavana mmoja tukamweleza, akasema hiyo mambo yamekuwa tayari kwa bunge, yanajadiliwa. Na hata sasa hajarudi.
Our efforts to reach the area member of Parliament, Kasim Tandaza, bore no fruits as our calls went unanswered. This is yet another borehole that has not produced a single drop of water for years. Residents are now calling on non-governmental organizations to intervene and provide a permanent solution to the scarcity of water in Mtsamviani. Mariam Wacharo, TV47, Kwale County.
Now, the Thika Main and Women's Prison was abuzz with activities as inmates showcased their talent in a beauty contest. They came out in large numbers, all in a bid to show that they are ready and willing to become integrated outside the walls of the prison. And in Kilemi in our reports.
It was all smiles and laughter at the Thika Main and Women Prison as inmates participated in a beauty contest and other forms of art to discover life outside the walls of prison.
The reason why we wanted to do this is because we realized that in prison most talents, we're like sleeping on our talent, on the inmates' talent, and we thought that it is good to encourage them. Kwa sababu wengi wakitoka huko nje pia wanaweza tumia kipawa chao kupata labda kazi.
Among talents that were showcased include modeling, dancing and spoken word. Inmates who participated in the event expressed their joy for being
Oh, hi guys. Sorry, you found me 5 minutes before I started recording, but anyway, so most of you have been asking me why I started Lady CLC 19 with Joy Rongo. I have also had my own share of pain. I know how it feels to want to give up. This is basically here to speak hope and inspire somebody who's going through a rough patch, to tell them that they can turn their pain into power. Our guests are normally here to share their experiences so that you can know somebody else did it, so you can also come out of it stronger and better. Let me go to my recording, and remember to always stay tuned every Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
Undertaking husband duties on a boyfriend tender.
Guys, with bromance, do you share your woman with the bro? Have a sister? Give me your sister. I show you how these things are done. So you go release and be like,
Men supporting each other, not only financially, but also socially.
Don't mingle with women you can't deal with.
Is there really a formula for dating and marriage?
Some men are procreational, some men are recreational.
Every Wednesday on TV47, the Men's Conference brings you a cocktail of top-notch advice to breed alpha males for alpha females in the society.
There's a breakdown how much money it is that the Tourism Promotion Fund has collected, how much it is that they are going to be committing, and why that commitment came in late. The issue of the Tourism Promotion Fund, why it did not come in handy earlier, and why is it committing after we've already renegated on our promises as state corporations to pay the contractor and the consultants on time.
MPs also wanted the Tourism Cabinet Secretary Najib Balala to come clean over how the 3 billion Kenyan shillings yearly Tourism Promotion Fund has been put to use since 2015. Likoni Member of Parliament Mboko expressing that the execution of such projects give way to employment opportunities for the largely unemployed youth in Mombasa County.
We have made a rapid calculation and realized that there is a collection of about 3 billion shillings, which has been raised each year annually, minimum of 3 billion shillings, which is still within the armpit of Balala. How that money is committed, how that money is utilized, how that money is contributing towards tourism development in this country is yet a gray area that we need to find out.
Tumeona imechukua muda mrefu sana na imekaa sana, na tunaomba sana
wizara husika na zile taasisi husika za mambo ya utalii waeke kipaumbele swala zima la ujenzi wa taasisi kama hii, kwa sababu